Pigs gone wild. Researchers found that Texas has the worst feral hog problem in the entire country.
In Texas, they're going hog wild over wild hogs. The feral animals are causing hundreds of millions of dollars of damage.
Right now, our countryside, a relentless force is silently tearing through farmland, bleeding the U.S. agricultural industry of over $1.5 billion every single year. We are not just talking about ordinary wild pigs here. These are absolute destruction machines. They root up crop field foundations, wreck irrigation systems, and poison vital water supplies while carrying deadly threats like Japanese encephalitis virus right to our doorsteps. 3 months ago, John, a veteran Texas farmer, thought a high-powered rifle would solve his problem. He shot 3 hogs out of a sounder, but one escaped. That single mistake turned that survivor into an absolute ghost. Wild hogs possess terrifying intelligence and photographic memory. Miss just one, and you have just trained a super adversary that will dodge your traps, memorize your scent, and outsmart your operations for months. How do you fight an enemy that literally learns from your mistakes? The answer is not more bullets, but the secret eyes hidden in the brush. Hit that subscribe button right now so you do not miss a single strategy, because what you are about to see will change how you view wilderness survival forever. If you want to beat an enemy that outsmarts most hunters, you have to stop acting like a shooter and start thinking like an intelligence officer. You cannot just charge into the brush with heavy gear and expect these creatures to fall into your lap. That is exactly how farmers lose tens of thousands of dollars before they even set their first spring. Welcome to the real game of ghost hunting on the open range. Before we dive deep into the tactical recon, drop a comment right now and tell us where you are watching this video from. What country or city are you tuning in from? Let us know in the comments and let us explore these wild strategies together. Once you realize wild hogs are watching your every move, your entire approach changes. The first phase of taking down a sounder is purely surgical, and it all revolves around trail camera. But listen closely, because 9 out of 10 beginners fail right here. They buy a couple of cheap game cameras, walk out to a tree line, strap them at waist height, and walk away thinking they are master trackers. A week later, they check their memory cards and see absolutely nothing, or maybe just a blurry snout right before the feed vanishes. Here is what actually happened. Wild hogs have a ridiculously keen field of vision for motion at ground level, and their long snouts are built to root around at knee height. If you mount a camera 5 feet or lower, you are placing a strange foreign object directly in their primary zone of awareness. They will spot the silhouette, catch the faint infrared glow at night, or smell the plastic casing. To outsmart them, veteran trappers use the canopy advantage. You need to mount your trail cameras at least 5 feet high, ideally 6 to 7 feet up a solid trunk, and angle them downward. Up there, the equipment disappears from their line of sight. They are so busy scanning the brush for immediate threats that they almost never look up into the branches. Positioning the lens is only half the battle. You also have to play master architect with sunlight. Never face a camera east or west unless you want half your footage ruined by blinding sun flares at dawn and dusk. Direct sunlight striking the lens destroys picture contrast, creates harsh thermal shadows, and triggers false motion alerts all day long. Always point your gear dead north or south. North is best because it gives you clean, even ambient light throughout the entire day, delivering crisp video frames where you can actually count individual bristles on a hog. Now let us talk about the invisible killer that ruins more operations than bad placement: human scent. A pig's olfactory sense is so sensitive, it makes a bloodhound look average. They can smell rotting roots 3 feet underground. So imagine what a drop of human sweat on a camera strap smells like to them. It smells like an apex predator invading their home. When you install your surveillance gear, you treat it like a cleanroom operation. Wear scent-eliminating gloves, spray down all plastics with neutralizer, and never brush your bare skin against nearby branches while setting up. A single drop of forehead sweat or the scent of laundry detergent left on a mounting strap will trigger alarms across the entire sounder, causing them to abandon that trail for weeks. When your footage starts rolling in, do not waste time counting piglets or admiring the size of the heavy boars. Boars are solitary loners. They do not dictate the movements of the pack. You are looking for one specific target, the alpha sow. She is the living, breathing brain of the sounder. She determines when the group feeds, which trails they take, and when a situation feels too risky. She is older, hyper-vigilant, and usually stands slightly back while the younger pigs rush toward food. If you can identify her marking patterns, her preferred feeding times, and how cautious she acts around new objects, you hold the keys to the entire group. By mapping her routine over several nights, you build a complete behavioral dossier. You know when they arrive, how long they stay, and who leads the charge. You now know exactly where they are and how many members walk in her shadow. But knowing their location is only the first step. Do you rush out there and build a heavy steel pen right on their favorite trail tonight? Absolutely not. That is the quickest way to burn a site forever. There is a golden rule about trap placement that most landowners learn the hard way. If you break this single geographical law, that alpha sow will lock eyes on your structure, turn the herd around, and never set foot near your property again. Once you have located the sounder and identified that cautious alpha sow, the temptation to throw up a quick enclosure is almost overwhelming. But building a trap without understanding hog physics is like setting up a cardboard wall against an armored truck. In the trapping community, design is not a matter of personal preference. It is pure engineering, and choosing the wrong structure guarantees a total breach. Different regions favor different tactics, based on terrain and logistics. Up north in Canada, wildlife managers often rely heavily on net traps. These systems are popular because of their portability. A trapper can fold an entire nylon or cable net mesh setup, pack it into a backpack, and trek miles into dense timber where heavy vehicles cannot go. They work well for quick deployments and smaller groups. But down here in North America, across the massive agricultural expanses of the United States, metal corral traps remain the undisputed heavyweights. When you are trying to capture an entire sounder of 30 or 40 massive hogs in a single drop, heavy-duty metal fencing is the gold standard. However, even the thickest steel panels will fail miserably if you make one fatal mistake in geometry, incorporating 90-degree corners. Beginners often construct square or rectangular pens because T-posts and stock panels naturally align into straight lines. That simple decision creates a massive structural weakness. When a 30-member herd realizes they are trapped, sheer survival instinct triggers immediate panic. They do not run in orderly circles, they sprint directly into outer boundaries looking for an exit. When trapped inside a square pen, panicking hogs crowd directly into those tight 90-degree corners. As more bodies pile into the corner, the pigs in the back push forward with hundreds of pounds of raw muscular force. The hogs trapped in the apex use the meeting walls like a chimney. They leverage their incredibly powerful shoulders, thick necks, and dense back muscles against both sides of the corner, stacking on top of one another and literally scaling a 6-foot fence within seconds. Even worse, that focused, concentrated force against a single corner post creates massive pressure points that can snap steel welds or pull heavy posts right out of the soil. This brings us to the ultimate secret of successful trap engineering: the elimination of all straight angles. The ideal trap layout must always be a continuous circle or a teardrop shape. In a circular enclosure, there are no corners for a cornered animal to stack up against. When a herd panics inside a round corral, their natural flight response forces them into a fluid, continuous circular motion along the inner perimeter. They keep moving along the curved walls, without ever finding a solid brace point to leverage their body weight upward. The kinetic energy of the herd dissipates smoothly around the ring, instead of destroying your structural welds. Modern trap technology has taken this design philosophy even further, with the introduction of flexible cable mesh systems. Instead of rigid steel bars that absorb direct blows, high-tensile cable nets yield slightly under impact. When a 200-pound boar hits a cable wall at full speed, the flexible mesh absorbs and disperses the kinetic force like a trampoline. This prevents the animal from suffering severe internal injuries or broken bones, while simultaneously protecting the structural integrity of the frame from snapping under sudden shock loads. Understanding geometry and physics allows you to build a fortress that no sounder can escape. You can spend thousands of dollars on heavy steel, perfect your circular lines, and secure every single T-post until the structure is virtually indestructible. But here is the hard truth. A perfectly engineered trap sitting out in the timber is completely useless on its own. Without the right motivation, that structure is nothing more than an intimidating pile of cold scrap metal. Wild hogs have access to hundreds of acres of natural acorns, roots, and agricultural crops. So how do you convince an overly suspicious alpha sow to lead her entire family away from their natural food sources and march right into the center of your steel ring? Before we uncover that secret recipe, hit that subscribe button right now if you are enjoying this deep tactical breakdown. Subscribing ensures you never miss our upcoming guides on advanced wilderness strategy and outdoor survival techniques. Now, let us talk about the ultimate bait formula that turns wild hogs into helpless prisoners. Building a rock-solid circular trap is a massive milestone, but you have to remember one fundamental law of wildlife management. Trapping is a patient process, not a one-time event. Too many landowners make the mistake of setting up their steel enclosure, throwing down a bag of dry feed, and propping the trigger gate open for a single night, expecting immediate results. That impatience is exactly why most DIY operations fail. If that hyper-vigilant alpha sow detects a brand new metal structure and senses even a hint of unnatural pressure, she will lead the entire sounder away, and you will be left staring at an empty pen. To succeed, you must master the art of pre-baiting. This is the conditioning phase where you mentally disarm the herd. During the first 1 to 2 weeks, the trap door must be locked wide open or removed entirely. The structure should look and feel like an open, harmless pavilion rather than a cage. Your goal is to establish a daily routine, turning that metal ring into the safest, most predictable dining spot on their entire range. You start by scattering bait outside the entrance, gradually creating a continuous line that leads deep into the center of the enclosure. In the beginning, the cautious alpha sow will stay on the perimeter while sending the younger, bolder pigs inside. Only after days of consistent, undisturbed feeding will she drop her guard, step over the threshold, and bring the entire family along with her. Now let us discuss what actually goes into that trough. Standard dry-shelled corn is the most common bait across America because it is cheap and accessible at any farm supply store. But dry corn comes with a massive drawback. Every animal in the forest loves it. White-tailed deer, raccoons, wild turkeys, and crows will swarm your bait site during the day, eating up your supplies before the hogs even wake up from their bedding thickets. To make matters worse, having deer constantly tripping around your site creates unwanted noise and churns up the soil, making cautious pigs even more suspicious. If you want to target wild hogs exclusively while keeping non-target wildlife away, you need a specialized tool. You need to brew sour fermented corn. This secret recipe acts like a hyper-targeted magnet for a pig's powerful sense of smell, while completely repelling deer and other forest animals. Here is the exact formula experienced trappers use. Start with a clean 55-gallon plastic drum and fill it roughly 2/3 full with dry-shelled corn. Add several pounds of cheap granulated white sugar, a few packets of active dry baker's yeast or brewer's yeast, and 4 or 5 packets of strawberry or grape gelatin powder. The sugary gelatin provides an intense sweet fruit profile that blends with the yeast while giving off an irresistible aroma that carries for miles through dense timber. Next, pour in clean water until the corn is completely submerged, with at least 3 to 4 inches of extra liquid sitting on top, because the dry kernels will expand significantly as they absorb moisture. Seal the lid tightly to create an airtight environment, but make sure to install a simple airlock or loosen the cap slightly every few days to allow building carbon dioxide gases to escape without letting fresh air back in. Let the barrel sit in a warm, sunny spot for 2 to 4 weeks. During this fermentation period, The yeast breaks down the sugars, producing a pungent, sour, sweet alcohol mixture that penetrates deep into every kernel. To human noses, the smell is overwhelmingly strong and sour. To white-tailed deer and native herbivores, that heavy fermented odor smells like spoiled, unpalatable rot, so they will avoid the area entirely. But to a wild hog, whose olfactory receptors can detect scent compounds several feet underground, that sweet, sour stench is an absolute, irresistible delicacy. The smell cuts through the thickest forest canopy, drawing sounders from miles away directly to your trap site. Once that fermented mixture hits the ground inside your circular corral, the behavioral shift is almost instant. The herd will grow completely addicted to the daily feast, plowing their snouts into the dirt and ignoring the steel posts surrounding them. They will show up at the exact same hour every single night, eagerly pushing past one another to get to the center of the ring. When the entire sounder is hooked on your free meal and eating peacefully inside that enclosure, the conditioning phase is officially complete. You have successfully turned their wild survival instincts against them. Now, the stage is set for the final decisive strike. But be warned, a single second of eagerness or a poorly timed trigger will ruin weeks of hard work and burn the site forever. This is where everything you have built over the past month comes down to a single, high-stakes moment. You have logged the camera hours, engineered a flawless circular trap, and conditioned the herd with sour fermented corn until they are practically knocking on your door at dusk. But if you trigger that gate too early and catch only half the group, you have failed. The remaining pigs will scatter into the timber, educate other herds, and never touch a baited site again. This is why professionals live by one absolute doctrine: whole sounder removal, or WSR. The goal of whole sounder removal is simple yet uncompromising: total elimination of the entire group in a single drop. Leaving even one juvenile or one subordinate sow behind means you have just created an educated survivor that will rebuild the population within a year. To pull off a perfect WSR strike, you need trigger mechanisms that guarantee every single set of hooves is safely inside the perimeter before the gate releases. Traditionally, trappers relied on clever mechanical triggers, with the tire trap method being one of the most reliable low-tech setups ever devised. Instead of a simple tripwire that a tiny piglet might bump on its way in, the trigger mechanism is buried inside a heavy, solid truck tire placed at the very back of the enclosure. The bait is poured deep into the center cavity of the wheel. Young piglets and smaller hogs can easily reach around the edges, but they lack the body mass to move the tire itself. Only the massive alpha sow and the heaviest dominant hogs have the sheer neck strength to root under that heavy rubber frame to reach the sour corn at the bottom. As the largest pig violently hoists the tire up to get to the bait, it pulls a high-tension cable connected to the main gate pin. Because the largest, most cautious animals are always the last to enter and push their way to the best food. By the time the tire shifts and trips the chine mechanism, every single smaller pig is already packed inside the corral. While mechanical tire triggers are remarkably effective, modern professional trappers have fully embraced cellular remote drop system. This high-tech approach takes all the guessing out of the equation and puts absolute control directly in the palm of your hand. Wireless, solar-powered cameras equipped with live cellular transmitters are mounted high above the trap site, beaming real-time, high-definition video directly to an application on your smartphone. Instead of relying on a physical tripwire inside the pen, you sit comfortably in your living room miles away, watching the live feed on your screen. You watch the cautious alpha sow inspect the entrance, step inside, and start feeding. You count every single piglet, young shote, and mature sow as they cross the threshold one by one. You wait patiently, ignoring the temptation to drop the gate when 80% of the herd is inside. You hold your breath until that very last straggler, usually a skittish juvenile hovering around the gate opening, finally steps over the drop line to join the feast. With a single tap on your smartphone screen, an electronic signal fires across the cellular network to to a heavy-duty solenoid unit mounted on the trap frame. The magnetic latch releases instantly, and a massive, heavy steel drop gate slams shut under its own weight, sealing the exit before any animal can react. The sudden crash of heavy metal striking the dirt shatters the silence of the night. Within milliseconds, the entire sounder explodes into utter chaos, slamming against the curved wire walls and realizing there is no way out. The trap holds firm. The continuous circular shape prevents any stacking in the corners, and the whole sounder removal operation is officially a complete success. If you want to stay ahead of invasive wildlife management and learn the latest tactical field strategies, hit that subscribe button right now. Your support helps us bring you deep dive breakdowns and real-world field guides every single week. The gate has dropped, the latch is locked, and the entire sounder is trapped inside your steel ring. But the operation is far from over. You now face a chaotic pen filled with dozens of massive, thrashing wild animals. And every minute you wait increases the risk of structural stress or injury. How do you safely and humanely handle a trapped herd of this size, and what crucial steps must you take immediately afterward to ensure the next sounder roaming your property does not smell the danger and run for the hills? Once the gate drops and the sounder is secured, the adrenaline fades, leaving you with a serious responsibility. Handling dozens of trapped animals requires absolute composure and precision. The standard humane method across North America is a single, precise shot to the brainstem, ensuring an instantaneous, painless end with zero prolonged suffering. From there, depending on local regulations and health safety guidelines, that meat can feed families and support local communities, turning a destructive crisis into a valuable resource. The only rare exceptions are verified biological hazard zones or radioactive areas like Fukushima in Japan, where consumption is strictly forbidden. Once the trap is cleared, the most critical step begins. Thorough sanitation. You must power wash the metal panels, scuff the soil, and completely neutralize every trace of blood, urine, and panic pheromones left behind. If a passing herd catches even a subtle whiff of stress chemicals from that previous group, they will flag the location as a death zone and avoid your property forever. This journey teaches us a profound lesson that goes far beyond managing wildlife on the open range. Capturing one sounder is simply winning a single battle, not the entire war. Outsmarting a resilient adversary requires calm strategy, relentless patience, and disciplined execution rather than brute force. When life throws massive, overwhelming obstacles your way, charging in blindly with raw aggression almost always leads to costly mistakes. Success comes when you step back, analyze the hidden patterns, adapt to the challenge, and execute your plan with quiet confidence. What do you think about this whole sounder removal strategy? Could a tactical approach like this work in your local region or agricultural community? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear your perspective. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss our upcoming intelligent agricultural breakdowns. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there, and I will see you guys in the next video.